UiS Aerospace is a fast-moving, fast-growing student organization at the University of Stavanger with 74 members. As you saw in the video, it pretty much sums up what we do. We build rockets. And I thought I'd spend some time taking you through a brief history of UiS Aerospace, because 2 years ago we had nothing. We started out with nothing at all. We had no knowledge of how to build a rocket and how that would work. So what happened was I had the idea to start UiS Aerospace, but I didn't know where to start. And so the first thing that happened was that we contacted this beautiful man right here, Inge Christ, and he was known to be sort of Mr. Rocket at the University of Stavanger. That is until we usurped him and took that title away from him. But I went to his office and I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, "Wow, that's really cool." And I asked if he knew where I could get some rocket motors. And he just turned around and he grabbed some things off his shelf, because he's a crazy chemist, and he actually had some small rocket motors lying in his shelf. And he gave them to us, no questions asked, which was really amazing. You can't tell anyone that, by the way, that he has rocket engines in his office. Please don't. And his last name is Christ, too, which is just perfect, considering we build rockets. They need to go up, just like Christ. So we took those motors he gave us, and we built this, which was the DIDRIC program, we call that. And we launched it pretty close to the university, which we later realized was a really bad idea. But we 3D printed these rocket motors, these rockets, and we launched them. And you saw that it went up and then right. It had an apogee of about 40 meters, but then horizontally it went almost 3 times that length. It actually went from the bus stop at the university west, and it hit the building closest to it. So that was. Then we regretted having put UiS Aerospace and our names on it, but that was all right. That didn't scare us too much. So we thought maybe the launch pad was the problem, and so. At first glance, this just looks like, a cup you would get at the university cafeteria or something like that, like a paper cup. But if you look closely, it's actually an upside down paper cup that we got from the cafeteria. So it's a pretty complex launch pad system, and that went something like this, which is an improvement. You saw it went much straighter. The center of gravity was a little better too. So after that, we were feeling pretty good about ourselves, and we made this, which was the DIDRIC 3, which concluded the DIDRIC program, and it went like this. And after that, we thought, we're ready for the big thing. Now we're pretty much rocket scientists. That was easy. And so we sent a mail. We sent an email to a supplier of rocket motors in Europe, and we said, so I was sitting in my office with a ruler, and we were like, yeah, this sounds right. 150 millimeters, that could work. We want a height of the height of the rocket is about 1.6 meters, has a diameter of 150 millimeters, and an altitude. This is very important. This saved us greater than 2,000 meters, and the payload 1 kilogram. And so I got a reply. I'm a little confused. 4 question marks, and then 3 question marks. Any more experience than only the small rocket from the picnic table? And the answer was, of course, we had launched 3 rockets in the DIDRIC program, as you know. So we had plenty of experience. And so we came to our senses, and we bought a 38 millimeter rocket motor instead, which we called the TIR, and TIR was launched in 2022. Oh, that's a very slow video. It's not supposed to be that slow. We don't have much time, so I'm going to cut it right there. And TIR went to about 1,000 meters of altitude. It was really fun. We had great fun. It crashed, and we lost all telemetry data, and no parachute was deployed. It was deployed on the way up, which, as you know, is not a very good idea. And so it just ripped right off, but we had a bunch of fun. And then UiS, which was the rocket you saw in the video, it also crashed. But we got some telemetry data from it. The systems, the avionics systems that we developed worked perfectly with the packing of the chute or something else that we don't exactly know yet caused it to crash, but we're going to give it another try now in April. The drogue chute at least deployed, and it was even more fun than the other one. This is a quote we really love, and we have to tell ourselves that it's okay to fail, because if not, we'll start crying and break down. But we think it's really, really important that we aren't deterred from doing this by failing. It's just, as long as we fail forward, then we're pretty happy. We have 2 active rocket programs now in UiS Aerospace. We call them programs, just like NASA and everything, which sounds so much cooler than calling them projects. So that's the Borealis program, which is a sounding rocket, which was first launched in April 23 and will be launched again next year. And the current record is 3,200 meters. And the main objective here is to give new members experience in building rockets. We have now also the X program, which is really ambitious, but we think in pushing the limits a little bit, we work differently when we know that we might not succeed. So we're actually aiming to launch to 100 kilometers, right into the Northern Lights. And to do that, we are developing our own liquid rocket engine. It's going to be called the Berserker, and it's made possible due to our collaboration with Kumrod, which they make antennas for the defense industry, and they also have large winding equipment that's capable of making large telephone masts out of glass fiber. We're going to use that to make our rocket fuselages. We have an ace up our sleeve, and that is that we have our own launch sites. We have a test launch site where we can launch up to 10 kilometers if we want that. So we coordinate with the local aviation authorities and the tower at Sola, which is closest to us, and then we launch from there. Does this picture remind you of anything? Anyone? Any suggestions? Iwo Jima, yeah. So what we weren't aiming for it, but we looked at it afterwards like, Jesus, that's pretty cool. And so that's our ace. We've built this 15-meter launch rail. We put a first-year battery technology student to make it. He almost lost all of his hair, but he made the launch rail, which was really cool. And our mission in UiS Aerospace is to inspire future generations to enter the space industry. It was mentioned here on one of the panels that one of the most important things is to continuously put new people in the sector. We need growth. We need to put more students into the space industry, and that's what we want to do. We want to work together with businesses to help with recruitment. Recruitment is expensive, and you need the right people. We educate them to be ready to work right when they're done with school. When they're done with the university, they're ready to work because they have the experience from UiS Aerospace. So with that, thank you very much, and thank you to Ole Dokka for giving us this amazing opportunity to speak. It's very good. So thank you very much, everyone.